Welcome to Leadership Speak, an advanced Toastmasters club for leadership development. We are one of the top clubs, one of the top 5 clubs globally. I am Irish Casnella, your sergeant at arms of the meeting. Our club mission: we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which all members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leadership Speak is a premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become better self-directed leaders. We are an advanced club focused primarily on leadership development in everything we do. Our timer has virtual hands raised, so we all can immediately see who is keeping the time. Our Toastmaster of the day, Holmes Teng. Holmes Teng is the president of Leadership Speak and a project manager with the Singapore government. He believes that to lead collaboratively is essential in today's world, where effective leaders bring out the best in others by tapping into diverse strengths, skills, and experiences. Please help me welcome your Toastmaster of the day, Holmes Teng.
Thank you so much, Aries, for the wonderful introduction and opening of the meeting. Collaborate. Members and guests, do you collaborate with your colleagues? Or rather, I should ask, in today's economy, in today's society, is it possible to grow your business, to achieve success for your projects, to serve your community without collaboration? In my view, that is impossible. Because the essence of leadership itself requires connection with people. And here at Leadership Speak, we don't want to lead people without a mind of their own, blind robots. That's not what we are looking for. We are looking to lead people, to grow with people, to bring out the best of our team. And with that, I call out to each and every one of you that collaboration is not optional in what you are doing, be it a social service, be it a non-profit organization, or a for-profit organization work. It is not optional, it is mandatory. It is a strategic imperative. It is something we all must do. And we need to do it with design, with intent, in a wise manner that we know who to collaborate, how to collaborate, and when to collaborate. These are things which I encourage all members and guests to reflect upon in today's meeting, especially through the educational segment. Before I proceed with the meeting, there is a very important group of people we have in today's meeting room that I want to speak to. And yes, guests, you are the most important people in the room. In a short moment's time, one of the leaders of the club, Nelly, will be posting the guest book in the meeting chat. I encourage you, please sign the guest book. Let us know where you're from. Let us know something interesting about you. Let us speak to you. toward the end of the meeting. We would love to reach out. Thank you so much for being here with us. We warmly welcome you. Nelly, would you please post the guest book in the Zoom chat, please? Thank you. I see the guest book posted. Guest, when you can, do sign up. So let us understand deeper into the meeting team. Lead collaboratively. I first like to welcome our toast of the meeting to let us know her thought. Gada, I warmly welcome Gada, who believes that the deepest human growth happens when people lead together. Gada, let us know your thoughts of the meeting team. Over to you.
Okay. Lead collaboratively, like building a fire. Leadership is often imagined as a spark, a lone flame lighting the way. But if you've ever built a fire, you know one spark isn't enough. You need dry wood, you need oxygen, and sometimes you need a few good people helping you keep it alive. Let me tell you a quick story. Few years ago, I was at leadership retreat in the mountains. That night, we planned to gather around a campfire. One person stepped up confidently to light it. He struck the match, but the wood was dumb. The wind was strong. Nothing worked. Then something beautiful happened. One person ran to find a dry twigs. Another one shielded the wind with their jacket. Someone handed over scraps of newspaper, and one gently knelt down and fanning a tiny ember until it caught. Few minutes later, the fire roared to life. Not because one person made it, but because everyone contributed something. That night, we didn't build a fire. We built a team. And that is what Lead Collaboratively is all about. It's not about ignite idea. It's about creating a space to everyone to bring their spark. It's not about leading collaboratively, just leading collaboratively. No, we that night fuel each other. Fellow test masters and guests, please unmute yourselves, open your videos, and please raise your glasses and join me to the toast to lead collaboratively.
Lead.
Collaboratively. Yes.
Cheers.
Yes.
Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Gada, for the toast. Moving on, we do have a series of role players meeting support team role players who help us in tracking today. First on the list, we have our timer, EJ. EJ believes that to lead collaboratively is to create harmony. Harmony, just like in music, talent, or any other field of endeavor. EJ, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Good day, fellow Toastmasters. I am your timer for today's meeting. I will time each speaker according to the agenda and signal using the virtual backgrounds: green, yellow, and red. After each segment, I will post the timing results in the chat. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, EJ, and we appreciate your work to help us track the meeting time. Next, we have the grammarian, Alvin, who believes that leadership is not just about titles. It's about being a collaborative team player. Over to Alvin, our grammarian, to let us understand his role and the word of the day. Alvin.
Thank you so much, Holmes. I apologize, I cannot show my space due to I'm still on the road. So as grammarian, I will pay attention to the language usage by all the speakers, because a better grammar will give you a better impression. You will look more professional. As simple as the use of past tense for describing something in the past, it will give you a better impression. Rest assured, making mistakes in grammar is okay, because sometimes in speaking we tend to become more informal, but I believe all of us want to be better. So this is my collaboration as grammarian. I hope can contribute much in this meeting. Our word of the day is interdependence. It is a noun. We can use noun to describe something that hasn't been described. Noun can also be used for labeling. You may say, my relationship with my team is interdependence. I have to be.
There might have been a little bit of a network issue between Alvin and us, but no worries.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Hey,
Okay.
Alvin, continue.
All right. The meaning of interdependence is the fact of depending on each other. And example is economic interdependence between rural and urban areas. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Alvin. Indeed, in a team, we are always interdependent on one another. And managing this interdependence is a key trait to how leaders can thrive when they work collaboratively. I encourage all speakers and role players, even guests, in the Zoom meeting chat to actively use the word independence. We are moving on to the speeches section. We are making a small adjustment to the order of speakers because some of our evaluators will need a little bit more time to come to the meeting. First up, I'd like to invite our first prepared speaker, Nicole Whyte, and her evaluator, Ray Rivero, and invite Ray to share with us more about Nicole's project. Ray? Ray, are you there?
Ray wasn't expecting to be on right now, so he's not here.
No worries. Maybe let me move on to the next speaker instead. Nicole, I'll call you again in a while. The second speaker is Gilda, and the evaluator is Iris. Let me welcome Gilda as well as Iris. Iris, are you there? Could you please turn on your... Yes, Iris, please let us know
Yes,
more
I'm here.
Gilda's project. Over to you, Iris.
Yeah, hi, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Also a pleasure to be evaluating Gilda. Gilda is following the visionary communication pathway, communicate with change. So today I have plans to deliver a speech on communicating a change to the audience affected by change. So she's going to avoid reporting on the content of this project, but more of a reflection. So back to you, Toastmasters of today.
Thank you so much, Iris. Today we are having an EXCO showcase where each of our speaker, including the educational speaker and Gilda, are all members of the executive committee. I'm very proud to introduce Gilda as the current incoming secretary of Leadership Speak. Gilda, tell us one thing about Leadership Speak that you love so much and you wish that the next year you look forward to also. Gilda.
The best place to learn or to be self-directed leader. It's
Wow.
100% the best club.
Thank you so much, Gilda.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are loud and clear. Gilda Shlah, simple equation. Simple equation, Gilda Shlah. Over to you.
Can I ask everybody to unmute and answer my question? What is 1 plus 1?
2.
2.
11.
Thank you. You may mute now. Slow. But what if I tell you that 1 plus 1 equal 1? Toastmaster of the day, leaders of leadership speak, and distinguished guests. I signed my first partnership the day I put my name on my marriage certificate. And for the next 8 years, the bond between myself and my partner in that partnership was getting stronger by the day. Good time, low time, no thunderstorm forcefully entered our house and was able to untangle that knot. That relationship was fruitful as well. We had 2 wonderful, healthy children. One of them was ready to start school. The straightforward process for parents to register their children in school created a big thunderstorm in my house, came from the inside of our house. And all I did is I used my full authority as a mom and registered my son in the best French school. We live in a bilingual country, English and French both spoken. My kids, I knew they were going to be fluent in English. I wanted them to master the other language, the French language, and have better future. So I happily registered my son, came home, put the registration form in front of my husband, my partner. He looked at it. That's when the thunder came. He looked at me and said, well, thank you, Gilda, for registering my son in the school of your choice. My son? Her son. But Gilda, you made him your son by registering him in the school of your choice without letting me know. And silence filled the room, not only for that evening, but for the next 3 days. Ladies and gentlemen, what changed in your life when you first got married? When you started your first job? When you started your first business partnership and you couldn't cope with the change? Well, that incident made me feel that I cannot cope with this. Losing my full authority in making a perfect and the most, well, the best decision for our son's future created that conflict. And I had to think about what is partnership means. These 3 days of silence treatment, they taught me a lot. I learned a lot. I learned that shared goal in achieving within partnership have to come from open communication, respect to the other person, empathy. And that's the only way to achieve our goal. And if I can put the partnership in a way that will explain, I can't put it in a better way than what the founder of Leadership Speak, distinguished Toastmaster Mrinal put it. And I quote, partnership is a relationship, and relationship creates change. He also made us visualize what he is saying. He said, two partners are like two puzzles. When you mix them, when you merge them, they form the perfect image. And that perfect image in my face was our son and his well-being. I changed my attitude. I put my full authority that I had before on the shelf. I communicated that change to my own self. I was the audience of myself. And I started all over again. I ripped the registration. I proposed the school to my husband, and he was in full agreement. But I needed to have this different approach to achieve this common goal. And I've changed. To me, in partnership, ladies and gentlemen, it's 1 + 1 always equal 1. Are you ready to change? Back to you, Joseph Sadia.
Thank you so much, Gilda. Believe our evaluator for the education segment is back. Guest, before I move into the education segment, I'd like to invite you to sign the guest book. You, as guests, are the most important people in the room. And we would love to be able to reach out and speak to you at the end of the meeting. Now, as I move on to the education segment, Pokit, are you there? Pokit?
Yes, Holmes, I'm here.
Okay, could you turn on your camera?
Sure.
Okay, now I'd like to invite the educational speaker, Terrence, as well as his evaluator, Pokit. Pokit, will you be able to tell us more about the project that Terrence is doing today? Over to you, Pokit.
Absolutely, Holmes. Thank you. I will just be reviewing that. So the project is Prepare to Speak Professionally. It's a 18 to 22-minute speech project. And the objective of this project is for the member to practice developing long-form speeches as a precursor to speaking in professional setting. And as an evaluator, I will be focusing on the vocal tonality as Terrence has requested me to do that as a specific parameter. And I will also be assessing whether his connect with the audience was optimal. Essentially, why should the audience care parameter. And I wish Terrence all the best for this Prepare to Speak Professionally project. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Terrence, Toastmaster Holmes.
Holmes,
You
you're
are on
muted.
mute, Holmes.
Thank you. Members and guests. Thank you, Pokit. Members and guests, I'd like to introduce Terrence, our Vice President of Public Relations, and also our educational speaker for today. Terrence, tell us one thing that you love about Leadership Speak.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. One thing that I like about Leadership Speak is the culture. You'll notice that everything is done to the best. Everything is done par excellence. That really attracts me and keeps me going at Leadership Speak. And I look forward to this journey, walking this journey together with each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Terrence. Terrence were lead collaboratively, collaboration by design. Lead collaboratively, collaboration by design. Terrence were. Over to you.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, collaboration isn't optional. It's how leadership, and real leadership for that matter, scales. But you might be asking yourself, does collaboration mean consensus? Does it mean being agreeable? Does it simply mean that if you put two clever people in the room, they're going to automatically collaborate? I posit to you that this does not necessarily happen. Over my leadership journey of about 7 years, I've witnessed how collaboration either builds and multiplies effort exponentially, or on the other hand, derail brilliant ideas. And the difference is neither talent nor resources. It's about design. Today's most successful leaders don't simply hope for collaboration. They architect it. This morning, this evening, this moment, wherever you are joining us from, fellow Toastmasters and guests, you walk away with 3 strategies and 3 shifts that will help you transform how you lead through collaboration. First, how to adapt a high-performance collaborative mindset that drives results, not just relationships. Second, how to create deep trust and authentic team engagement that transforms how people show up and contribute to that team. And last but not least, how to align every collaboration with long-term leadership outcomes. Because every partnership you build shapes your culture and how you lead tomorrow. So how do you advance, or how do you adapt a collaborative mindset? Collaboration is leadership, not consensus. Remember that. Amy Poehler, a distinguished Toastmaster, puts it, other people and other people's ideas aren't often better than your own. Therefore, high-performing collaborative leaders don't seek agreement, they seek clarity, they seek commitment, and the combined capability that comes with that. More so in today's complex world, individuals seek expertise, not in silos, but in areas where we can collaborate. And it follows that every collaboration needs an attitude that each and every member of that team can succeed. Collaboration is not mutually exclusive. Your gain does not necessarily mean someone else's loses. But let me be clear about how this actually looks in practice. It means shifting from thinking like a hub. A hub is a complete unit. It has everything. For instance, if you talk about in a network, it's self-sufficient. To thinking like a node. A node is part of a network. It connects other parts of the network. Traditional leaders position themselves as the central hub. It follows, therefore, that each and every decision, each and every idea comes from them. And it depends on them for the ideas and the decisions to flow. However, collaborative leaders understand that they are one node in a web of multiple relationships, each bringing unique value and something that drives the vision. For those who might be concerned, collaboration does not diminish the value of your leadership. It multiplies it through strategic connections. One example of collaboration that really worked, that is in the history books as we speak, is the invention of the formation of the Amber Alert. For those who might not be in the US or might not be familiar with this, this is the system that alerts people about disappearances, especially of children, so that each and every person gets a text message alerting them of a possible disappearance, possible kidnapping, or possible circumstances around children. It wasn't always like this. It began with the unfortunate demise of a 9-year-old girl called Amber Hangerman. She was abducted, and unfortunately, she was murdered in Texas. What followed that unfortunate event is collaboration par excellence, because the police and the members of the public were able to collaborate through a suggestion by an individual that since we always receive weather alerts, can't we submit cases that we suspect of child abductions? And so it followed that this Amber Alert was named after the late Amber. And so that local enforcement has adopted that, and we see it across USA, especially in over 50 states and now in 27 countries. Simply looking at it, that's the power of designed collaboration. It turned an individual concern, it turned an individual tragedy into something collective that can save multiple lives. I'll give another example of the civil movement. It succeeded not because it had individual heroes, far from it. It succeeded because of constant changing constellations of relationships. Citizens, organizations, leaders, well-wishers, and communities. It follows that large-scale impact requires decentralized collaboration with multiple partners. Right here at Leadership Speak, I have witnessed this change my mindset and how I approach things. See, early on, my relationship with my evaluator was a simple one. It was as if I would be ticking a box and barely getting by. I would send the evaluation form and disappear from the scene because I have done my part. I was operating from a point of centralized control, individual expertise, and closed information sharing. Through training on critical thinking and various other aspects that we have learned at Leadership Speak, I have learned to shift my attitude, because if I succeed as a well-evaluated speaker, then my evaluator succeeds at becoming a better speaker and a better evaluator. So I began engaging directly with evaluators, and I would ask and I would seek clarity on how I can collaborate better, how I can achieve better clarity in my speeches, and how I can execute my message much better. See, I stopped seeing myself as the hub that needed to have control throughout into a node connecting other points in the network. The result? I didn't simply improve, I transformed. Because true collaboration is not just about feelings. It's about multiplying impact through combined skills. When I started operating with this mindset, I got the awareness of relationships I was embedded in, and I would leverage on them for the collective intelligence of the whole community. Therefore, this mindset shift requires 4 areas or 4 principles. The first one, focus on the mission. This is objectivity and not the organization. Ask yourself, am I trying to influence or am I trying to grow our shared mission? What exactly am I trying to do? And what separates collaborative leaders from other leaders is that we routinely invest in others without expecting anything in return, apart from the growth and the institutional gain that comes with it. At points, we are willing to take a back seat so that the team can flourish. The second part, shifting from the hub to the node, it's exercising trust, trusting that your team can deliver on something instead of being in control or exercising control over the team. In such spaces, people feel safe and they can build on their skills. They can have authentic conversations. They can develop further collaborative relationships with others within and outside the team. So I pose it to you, don't force connection. Provide an environment that supports it. Facilitate it. Third and penultimately, lead with humility. It takes so much humility to offer your services, your connections, your resources, your time, without expecting any payback, apart from, as I said, the growth of the team. I have seen this firsthand through our leaders and our coaches. I can talk about members such as Bram Memon, who give of themselves, and several others without expecting anything in return. And what about the credit? They share it with the team. Sometimes I look at them as facilitators who stand in the background to enable others to thrive. And last but not least, think like a node, not a hub. It's good to acknowledge the power of dynamics in your team. Learn what others are doing and how you can work together to achieve even more. As you leave this meeting, think about and audit your collaborative instincts. When you work with your team, when you work with your partner, how do you approach it? What mindset do you get into it with? Is it the 1 + 1 = 2, where you are competing? Or is it 1 + 1 = 1, which makes you a stronger unit? Second, as you think about that, think about ideas that open up spaces for collaboration. Instead of saying yes, but, for instance, a phrase that is so loaded that can stop ideas from flowing, you can say yes, and, so that you add and build up on what you already have, instead of diminishing what already exists. Second, creating deep trust and authentic engagement. You might have noticed that most people treat collaboration like luck, something that you can't predict, but you can only hope for, hoping that it develops naturally between good people, create a good team, and suddenly you will have collaboration. But I posit to you that building deep trust takes authentic engagement. It's not about team building exercises and casual Fridays and so many other programs we might be having in mind when you talk about team building or team collaboration. It's about creating that environment where people feel free and safe to contribute. I will use another example at Leadership Speak. Have you ever noticed in your groups, in other clubs or in other spaces, when someone wants to give feedback, they would come directly into your inbox and say, could you please improve on this? Could you please do that? At Leadership Speak, we have been encouraged to create that authentic connection. And so each and every time, whenever I see something that needs to be worked on, I always see direct communication in a context so that each and every member can learn from what is happening. It's not hidden in the background because it affects the members. And it could be as a Herculean task at first, because we are so used to holding back and staying safe, staying below the glass ceiling, hoping our skills, hoping what we do will stand out and speak for itself. But I posit to you, such engagements create what I call heritage relationships, building on connections that exist and shared understanding, and not just say, this is good, this is well done, no, this is perfect, this is excellent, but looking at specific areas of improvement, looking at applicable ideas and insights that can help us authentically grow. For instance, I remember an evaluation where I was told, or I was given feedback as follows. I would challenge you to go deeper into this, explore this based on your path. I see your passion in this area. What's your story behind it? How did you get into this? Your message is clear, but what exactly do you want your audience to take away? And this leads me to an example. Google mirrors this through their Project Aristotle research. They found that psychological safety, not talent and resources as some may think, was the #1 factor in high-performing teams. And so Google's collaborative team culture minimized the hierarchical barriers and created environments where employees feel free to share, leading to breakthroughs like Gmail and AdSense, things that would have otherwise never been thought about. The magic happens when people feel safe to contribute and to share their ideas freely. Something else we always see each and every year when we watch National Geographic or any other channel for that matter is the migratory geese. They collaborate to share the energy and drive themselves through their flight or through their migration. You'll notice that starting out, we'll have one bird leading. As we continue, another one will take the lead, and the one which was leading will take a rest so that the others can keep moving forward. In this club, and I've observed most recently, people reach out. People create that safe space where you can become a self-directed leader and you can achieve such things as we did. For instance, gaining 160 education goals. The engagement becomes real because the trust is deep. For you to get to such a point, I would suggest 3 things you can try or you can create as your best practices to create authentic engagement. First and foremost, build on heritage relationships. Start with the people who know and trust each other, then expand the circle. For instance, you already have people who work together in a team. Make them collaborate since they already have that familiarity. Second, ask first and react later. If you're feeling disrespected or you have any assumptions, seek to understand first before you conclude. Give the people the benefit of the doubt. The approach could be different, but they're not necessarily wrong. Third and last, practice what I mentioned earlier. Build up on ideas. Someone tells you something you didn't expect or you didn't understand or you don't necessarily agree with. Remember, you can say yes, and then you can add and build up on that idea. With that, you'll create safety in leadership. And like in the goose formation, you let people take turns leading while you support. The last area when building collaborative teams and being a collaborative leader is to align your collaboration with the long-term leadership outcomes. Every collaboration, as I said, forms part of your leadership culture. Make it count. Those collaborations you're building today, they become part of your culture. And therefore, strategic collaboration is not simply about solving today's problems, but also looking beyond those simple problems and building tomorrow's capability. How can you think of this? Here at Leadership Speak, for instance, a lot of collaboration happens in the background. And we have created a remarkable culture, as I mentioned, 160 goals, 60 plus engaged members coming from across 30 countries, across the time zones. This did not happen by accident. This was through intentional effort. As we seek to become the premier club for self-directed leaders, we look back and say, it happened because each and every collaboration, each and every time that speaker and that evaluator connected, each and every time that Toastmaster of the day and those role takers connected, each and every time collaboration happens at Leadership Speak, it aligns with our overall vision. Developing leaders who are self-directed and leaders who can lead beyond the 5 to 7 minutes, leaders who can lead in the real world. The results, you can see them for yourselves. 160 goals, 60 engaged members, reach across the whole world. What has been created here is not simply a club. It's a movement. It's a system that scales beyond the Saturday meetings. We don't just create a leadership hub, but we created nodes in the network that work beyond these Saturday meetings. How has this affected other areas in other sectors apart from Leadership Speak? I'll give you an example of Mayo Clinic, which doesn't simply treat patients, but they built a collaborative culture that transforms healthcare. They have multidisciplinary clinics that bring together surgeons, therapists, and engineers collaboratively to discuss patient cases. And so every interaction ends up creating diverse perspectives for better patient outcomes. They're not just solving today's medical challenges, but they are building tomorrow's collaborative healthcare capability. Similarly, Habitat for Humanity, Home for Home initiative, links volunteers to build homes through corporate funding. Each collaborative engagement multiplies impact. It strengthens the community ties and raises awareness on housing. They're not just building houses. They are having a collaborative movement that addresses housing insecurity at scale. As Monique Levesque Farao puts it, Collaboration sometimes feels like it can slow down a process. But when it happens successfully, it's everyone's success, and therefore all the sweeter. When people can see their personal contributions to the overall outcome, it builds capacity for future leadership. Sarah discovered this truth, that patience in collaboration pays off by building others' capacity to lead. She discovered that leadership is not just being about more effective. It was about becoming more sustainable and rewarding for everyone involved. Perhaps you're preparing for a project, leading a volunteer organization.
Okay. Yes.
Leading a volunteer organization or any other project for that matter. Is your team stuck in short-term leadership collaboration loops, or are you getting somewhere? In this short moment, we have covered how strategic shifts can help transform how you lead through collaboration. First, collaboration being about leadership and producing combined effort. Creating deep trust and authentic engagement. And finally, for culture. Here is what I want you to remember as you leave this room, as you leave this speech, as you leave this space. Collaboration is done not by default, but by design. Plan through those processes. And the leaders who shape collaboration don't wait for it to happen. They design it.
Thank you, Terrence, for reminding us the essence and the importance of collaboration, and also speaking about our success at Leadership Speak. In the Toastmaster year that ended 30th of June 2025, Leadership Speak was the top club in the world in terms of number of educational awards that the club has completed in a single year. We have achieved 162 awards. And the only reason why we could do this is because we have engaged and committed members who are not only developing their leadership and communication skills on our weekly chapter meetings. On a per week basis, we at least have 2 other sessions where members can grow. One is the Extraordinariness group, where we allow members to discuss deeper about the communication and leadership challenges that they are facing, as well as to receive roundtable feedback to improve. And secondly, we also have practice sessions where all role players, inclusive of the speakers and evaluators, can practice their speech, receive feedback, and learn how to perform their roles or their speeches or their evaluation at a higher level with higher standards for the purpose of supporting one another. Guests, you are the most important people in the room, and I hope you have been enjoying the meeting. In a short while, the guest book will be posted in the Zoom chat, and I encourage you, leave your contact details there and let us reach out to you at the end of the meeting. We would love to speak to you and hear your feedback. Moving on to the next speech, I'd like to invite Ray, who is the evaluator of Nicole, to tell us more about Nicole's project. Yes, Ray, please tell us more about Nicole's project.
Thank you very much, Holmes. Today, Nicole Whyte will be presenting a project called Introduction to Vocal Variety in Body Language. What she will be doing is presenting her speech using the techniques of vocal variety and body language to enhance her message. The key aspect that she wants me to focus upon the most would be the pacing of how she delivers her speech. She doesn't want to say it too fast so that people don't understand, but she doesn't want to say it so slowly to bore us. So let's see how Nicole presents herself in today's speech. Over to you, Holmes.
Thank you so much, Ray. Members and guests, I'd like to introduce the new Vice President of Education, Nicole Whyte. Nicole, tell us about one thing that you love a lot about Leadership Speak.
Greetings, Toastmaster Holmes. One thing? It's okay. I'll go one. I love how I'm challenged and stretched to always raise the bar, my bar. The environment is an environment that believes in all members, everyone who are part of Leadership Speak. They have the mindset, just like I do. No limit, no boundaries. That's what I love. I felt like that was more than one.
Thank you so much. Members and guests, Nicole Whyte, until tomorrow. Until tomorrow, Nicole Whyte, over to you.
One of America's founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, echoed the sentiment. Don't put off until tomorrow what you can do today. Simple words, yet hard to live by. Show of hands, how many of you are guilty of this habit, procrastination? We all do it. See, I think some hands didn't go up because you are still procrastinating. If you should put your hand up, you should put your hand up. You're not alone. It's a natural fault, one that many struggle with, especially in this era where we are bombarded constantly with a daily dose of distractions. But we can't afford to delay what matters, and we should all make a conscious effort to manage this natural blind spot to the best of our ability. A few years ago, a former colleague of mine insistently encouraged me to invest in the stock market. Eventually, I beckoned to her call and bought a few. She'd send articles and explain trends. She would also point out the best performing stock and flagged which one was gaining attention. One in particular I recall, that was gaining attention. It had all the right signs. And what did I do? What did I do? I hesitated. I kept saying, I'll look into it tomorrow. Then tomorrow turned into next week, and next week became someday. By the time I was finally ready to purchase, the price had skyrocketed. That stock tripled in value. I'm sure you have heard the saying, or I hope. The saying says, procrastination is the thief of time. Well, my colleague said, Nicole, procrastination is not only the thief of time, it's also the thief of money. And she was right. My delay cost me more. That experience stuck with me, and it taught me that procrastination can rob us from what could be ours. Now I'm being more intentional. Yes, I'm being more intentional about what truly matters. And I've cultivated better habits. I'm a work in progress. When you and I are intentional about overcoming procrastination, we open ourselves up to plenty of legit benefits. 3 of these benefits are, and these are just some. First, accomplishing more. Our productivity increase and we are more fulfilled. Our accomplishments allow us to better utilize the potential that life has to offer. Second, how about those open doors? Remember, successful people have mastered the habit of seizing time-sensitive opportunities. They constantly remain focused while avoiding all the pitfall, that trap of putting things off for a later time. Great opportunities rarely wait for you and I, perfect schedule. And finally, we eliminate regret. You know, the if I could, I would have, I should have, like that stock that I didn't purchase before the bubble popped. Seneca the Younger, prominent Roman philosopher and playwright, warned, while we waste our time hesitating and postponing, life is slipping away. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, as leaders, our actions or inactions have profound effects beyond ourselves. Let's choose to act today, lead by example, and live without regret. Don't leave it for tomorrow. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster Holmes.
Thank you, Nicole. Members and guests, don't procrastinate. Members, especially Nicole and I, are watching. All right. Next, I'd like to bring up the evaluator for Irene, which is Marie, to introduce to us Irene's project.
It's my pleasure to introduce Irene Sadia, a proud and multiple award-winning member of Leadership Speak. Today, she will be delivering a speech from the Dynamic Leadership Path, Level 3, Project 11, where the goal is to present a speech that inspires the audience. Irene has kindly asked me to focus on two key aspects during her speech. Was her structure clear and easy to follow? Did she speak with executive presence? I'm really looking forward to hearing her message, and I invited you to listen with this point in mind as well. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Marie. Members and guests, I'd like to introduce to you Irene Sadia, who is our Sergeant at Arms. Irene, tell us one thing that you love about Leadership Speak. Over to you.
Hello, everyone, and thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, Holmes. One thing I love about this club is how supportive everybody is. You just need to ask, and you will have lots of people helping. That has worked for me. So it helps me to keep growing. Thank you.
Wonderful. Irene Sadia, the gift that chose me. The gift that chose me. Irene Sadia, over to you.
So I walked from the car park with my parents to the school hall. I couldn't help but notice the young girls around me darting in between their parents, excitedly high-fiving each other, like bees jumping from flower to flower. I was also a student, like them, so we had just graduated from elementary school to high school, a place to be proud and happy. I was happy. No, because this is not the school I had chosen. I didn't want to be here. I'd never even heard of it. So let me take you to a year back from that date. That day, we were selecting schools for high school. And my father had told me, choose the school you like. And so I did. And so on the day when the forms were being submitted to be taken to the Ministry of Education, he dropped us off. And then I saw him park the car in the visitors' car park and proceed to the administration block. I was so excited. I'm thinking, oh, he's just going to sign off on the form. An hour into the school timetable, my class teacher knocks on the door. And he opens and calls the teacher who was in. And immediately I hear, can Irene please come out? And so I quickly ran out. And my dad is standing out there with my class teacher. And my dad shows me the form that these are the schools we've chosen for you. So what was the point of asking me to choose? I can't remember how that day ended. And so back to present day, as I'm seeing my fellow classmates excited, I almost felt resentful and wondering, this is not the bright future I had envisioned. In fact, it was starting to look very dim. And after orientation was done and the parents were leaving, my father called me aside and said, Irene, if you work really, really hard, then I will transfer you to the school that you wanted. Oh, Daddy had just thrown me a lifeline. Oh, did I not work? And by the end of that year, I had consistently maintained top 4 out of more than 80 students in our class. So I went home and put my report card where I knew he would see it, because I'm already starting to build castles of the school that I'm going to. And so, of course, we're sitting with mommy and talking. I'm pretending not to be listening, but I'm trying to eavesdrop. And then daddy calls me and says, Irene, if you can work this hard in this school, you don't need to go anywhere else. You're okay. Dad. So you can guess what I did in the new semester. I didn't put in any effort. I just went along. At the end of the term, the results were obvious. And of course, I had to bring it home because they had to sign it off. Daddy never said anything, neither did mom. And as I picked that signed report card, I noticed something I hadn't seen before. The name on that report card was mine, not his or not mommy's. So I resolved that I would go back and work so hard, because this was my life I was playing with. So this school, I may not have chosen it, but it chose me. And Daddy always said that the one gift he was giving us was education. So this gift definitely chose me, and I was going to make the gift be worthy of having, make me be worthy of having chosen me. Fast forward to today. The year is 6 months gone. It's also the beginning of the Toastmasters year. Are there plans that you have that you've probably wondered fell along the way, and you're wondering whether to even resuscitate them? I don't know. Food for thought. But what I learned from my school, in this school that chose me, I learned the content that I needed to learn in that school. Some of my family values were reinforced, and now they were not just mommy's rules, but I learned that this was a way of life. And I made some good friends who we are friends to date. And so when things happen in my life that don't look like I had planned, like life has thrown me a curveball, I remember that I don't always have to choose the gift. The gift may have chosen me, but I do not let it bring me down. So for you who's listening, when in your life things come your way that you didn't plan, you didn't choose, you don't like, just survive, lead through it. Lean into the discomfort. Listen to others, because it is in that listening, in that collaboration, that help will come your way, that you will build communities that will not only thrive you as an individual, but everybody concerned. Mandy Hale, an author, said that sometimes when things fall apart, they may actually just be falling in place. Would you allow the things that happen to you not fall apart, but fall in place to lead you to the places you want to go? Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Irene. Next, I'd like to call upon the evaluator for our fourth speaker, Mrinal, which is Angela Brown. Angela, would you let us know more about Mrinal's project, please? Angela?
Okay, sorry about that.
No worries.
I had some problems opening the document. Okay, so Mrinal's project is reflecting on the past that he just completed. The purpose of the project is for the member to reflect on the growth during the completion of the path. The purpose of the speech is make member to share an aspects of the growth during the completion of the path. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Angela. Members and guests, I'd like to introduce our treasurer for the Toastmasters year of 2025 and 2026, Mrinal. Tell us one thing that you love about Leadership Speak.
Support each other's and authenticity. These are the two things that's always touch my heart.
Thank you so much, Mrinal.
Thank you.
Mrinal Kanti Ghosh, the spark of a visionary. The spark of a visionary, Mrinal Kanti Ghosh. Over to you.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Have you ever stood in front of the mirror? Not to just how you look like that. It's not about that. But ask yourself, who have I become? And who am I becoming? Just reflect in front of the mirror. That moment came to me late night after delivering my icebreaker speech at Leadership Speak. I stood alone, my speech note still trembling in my hand, and I asked, is this just about public speaking? Or something deeper? Or something transformational? Tonight, I invite you to walk with me as I reflect on my journey through the visionary communications path, a path that started with hesitation but has led me towards inspiration. I still remember when I delivered icebreaker speech. My voice was cracked, my hand was trembling, my thoughts are scattered like leaves in a storm. At that time, I had already spent 15 years in the corporate world, speaking in meetings, handling multiple projects, negotiating number of deals. But trust me, friends, Toastmasters, this was a different. This was a raw. This was a real. There is no script. There is no corporate mask. Just me. Authentic version of myself. That day I realized communication isn't about impressing. It's about connecting with each other through heart, no others. That shift of mindset marked me my first step, my visionary journey from fear to authenticity. As I moved through the levels, each project was like a climbing rung on the ladder towards my self-awareness. One of my favorite projects was connecting with your audience. I shared a story about my wallet losing during one of the festivals in India. This festival is known as Durga Puja. Nowadays actually celebrated throughout the world. And I losing my wallet. I'm scared because every document is there with my wallet. Money is also there. But after almost 30 minutes later, two stranger, kind-hearted persons returned my money back. This moment, a small miracle, taught me a gratitude. But more than that, it taught me the power of vulnerability in storytelling. The feedback I received, your story touched me. That means more than applause. It was no longer about my speaking. It was about connecting through your authenticity with the audience. But it wasn't always a smooth, it's always not a smooth sailing in the sea. There are moments I feel stuck, and that's a part of life, especially during my level 4. There are moments I especially feel that my life is so hectic between job travels, Toastmaster roles, studies at one of the premium institutes in India. I wondered, am I doing the justice with my journey? One evening, I skipped one meeting, then another meeting, and started questioning, was I burning out? It was during the Sunday morning, reviewing my journal. Then I find one line written in the bold. Don't give up on things that light you up. Don't give up on things that light you up. Toastmaster did just that. It's lit fire within me. That week, I recommitted. I delivered my level 4 projects with clarity and audience feedback, reaffirmed my purpose. I realized visionary communication isn't a sprint, it's a pilgrimage. Toastmasters didn't just change the way I speak, it changed me where I live. At work, I now speak with more empathy during stakeholder meetings, internal or external customers. Nowadays, I listen more, reflect more. In one case, my communication finalized me a business deal of $10 million in a single shot. It's not because I spoke better, because I understood better. At home, I often communicated with my daughters, who is now growing up in the world where voice matters to be heard, and love and presence. I tell her bedtime stories and often sneak in Toastmasters technique without her, without knowing anything to my daughter. Even while mentoring newer members in my club, I always share one simple formula. Speak to express. Speak to express, not to impress. Speak to express, not to impress. Today, I stand you, not as the same person, who once trembling during icebreaker speech, but someone who has grown thoroughly, even stumble and stage light. Visionary communications taught me that communication is not just a tool, but a responsibility. That communication where the leadership begins with listening to others and to yourself. My entire path has been messy, meaningful, and magnificent. As I reflect on my journey on visionary communications, I ask you all, where are you in your journey? Where are you in your journey? Have you ever find your voice, or are you still waiting for the permissions? Let be a sign to speak, to stumble, to sign, because every path you walk to shape your vision, and every word you speak that change someone's life. Thank you.
Thank you, Miro. Next, I'd like to invite the fifth speaker, Tony, as well as his evaluator, Nzinga. Nzinga, can you tell us about Tony's project, please?
My pleasure. Today, Tony brings us an icebreaker. The first speech, the first project of his new path, Persuasive Influence. The purpose of the project is for a member to introduce themselves to the club and learn the basic structure of delivering a speech. Of course, Tony is not delivering his first speech in Toastmasters, not in this club. Our DTM, club parliamentarian, and former district governor has a personal objective, which is to combine the pathway's purpose, persuasive influence, with a hook. Considering the challenge to deliver his speech in 4 to 6 minutes, Tony aims to clearly outline his objective to the audience and to give them a takeaway or call to action. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Nzinga, for especially highlighting who Tony is in our club. Members and guests, we are a well-established club that we want to live the values of Toastmasters. And what better way to find guidance than to have a very established Toastmasters, a former district governor, whom we call district director today. He was in that role around 10 years ago, and he's still here, serving Toastmasters with his heart, blood, and soul. We're very fortunate to have Tony. Tony, with such vast experience and exposure in Toastmasters, tell us, why leadership speak? What do you love about it?
Of many things. My answer today is I love hearing the stories, the different stories from all over the world. It's powerful.
Thank you so much. Tony Bratschitsch, the hook within the hook. The hook within the hook. Tony Bratschitsch, over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. The judge took off his glasses, paused as he stared at me, and said, "Mr. Bratschitsch, why should I listen to you. And that question, 16 years ago, changed my career. It helped me learn 2 valuable lessons that I will share. Number 1, it's good to be lucky, but we need more than luck to control our destiny. And number 2, using the right hook at the right time in any presentation is powerful, as the judge used that question to hook me, his audience. And from that, not only did he have my attention, he controlled it. According to Carmine Gallo, who I have quoted before, in his book about TED Talks, that's exactly what a hook is supposed to do. Immediately control the audience's attention. And the judge did so by being skeptical with his question. At that moment, I was overwhelmed by emotion. I knew I had to answer his question, or my legal claim was dead in the water. And that's where luck kicked in and saved me. Because luckily for me, I had already been a Toastmaster for over 2 years at that time. It was now an opportunity to get a dividend from my table topics training, to provide a meaningful response to an unexpected question. I cleared my throat, looked at him, and respectfully said, "Your Honor, I have a story to tell." Now, the tables were turned. The judge was not expecting that response. I could see the curiosity over his face. "Okay, Mr. Bratschitsch, go ahead and tell me your story." The judge was hooked. And everybody loves a good story. And again, I was lucky. I had a good story. And I won that hearing. Lesson number 1 was immediately obvious to me. I was lucky, and I knew it. And lesson number 2 about hooks, well, that took longer for me to understand. Using the right hook at the right time in the right circumstance is powerful. And in this particular case, with that judge, curiosity won over his skepticism. Renowned author Robert Greene, in his seminal book, The Laws of Human Nature, addressed this very issue. He wrote that curiosity and skepticism are the 2 fundamental elements of rationality. He described how the ancient Greeks addressed rationality with a metaphor for balancing curiosity and skepticism. And their metaphor was a rider on top of a horse. The horse represents curiosity with its energy. The rider, on the other hand, represents skepticism with its control. They are interdependent. Rationality cannot exist without both of them. Furthermore, the ancient Greeks said, we must have the right balance between the 2. The rider must control the energy to achieve a desired purpose. Now, in the 16 years since that moment, I have learned that to achieve the right balance, you must use the right hook. So after the judge hooked me with the question, "Mr. Bratschitsch, why should I listen to you?" I unwittingly shifted his skepticism to curiosity with my hook, a hook within a hook. And luckily for me, my storytelling worked. Therefore, to be persuasive in Toastmasters, or at work, or anywhere else, we need to use the right hooks to engage our audience. Because, hey, without the audience's attention, there's no point in being persuasive. Fellow Toastmasters, do you want to be persuasive with your audience? Don't rely on luck. Hook them or lose them. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Tony. I'd like to invite the timer to prepare to post the speaker's timing in the Zoom chat. At the same time, I'd like to invite the Zoom master to launch the poll for the best effort speakers. Guests, you are the most important people in the room today. How was the meeting for you? You've seen our exco, with the exception of our immediate past president and our vice president of membership, Mrinal. I will be brewing something with him, and he will be coming in one of the upcoming meetings. For this meeting, I hope all the speeches have brought you something of value. From how to collaborate to the importance of acting with urgency, not to procrastinate. From how we want to think logically so that we can get ahead in our lives with strategic advantage. I hope you have taken many notes for you and your life to improve. We definitely would like to know you better. And I would invite you to sign in the guest book, which will be posted very shortly in the meeting chat. Oh, it's there. Thank you so much, Nelly. Let us know you better. And toward the end of the meeting, we also like to speak to you. Members and guests, those who have not voted for the poll, please take the opportunity to let us know, in your view, who is the best speaker. Timer, can I have the timing of the speakers in the chat, please? EJ? As EJ does it, I would also like to welcome our General Evaluator, Bratschitsch. Bratschitsch is our guru in the club, in 2 cents. Technical expert, and also our humor expert. Watch out for his speeches in the meetings to come. For now, Bratschitsch, tell us, what do you love about Leadership Speak?
The first thing is, of course, collaboration. And I will add one more thing, just Tony's finished off. I was lucky that I was chosen by the club.
Wow, amazing. Now, let me hand over the rest of the meeting for the evaluation segment to you. Our General Evaluator of the day, Paramjit Singh.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Holmes. Hello, everyone, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Welcome to the most important section, our segment of today's meeting, the evaluation session. This is where we celebrate progress and have constructive feedback for the growth. Because it's not about only speaking, it is about growing. And that happens only when we receive feedback, constructive feedback, encouraging evaluations, as well as insights to help ourselves. So let us see how our evaluators have done today. And they have minutely observed the speakers and let's give them the ample feedback for their growth. So to begin with, we will be having a first as Nelly Avado, who will be evaluating the toast. And she's evaluating Khada. And Haley is having about 15 years into Toastmasters and just received a DTM. She is a business strategist. And about the today's theme, she has said that she liked the theme because it emphasizes teamwork, makes our dream work. So I will request now Toastmaster Nelly to give the strategies, what was good for the toast and what other strategies she can add on for her growth. Over to you, Toastmaster Nelly.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator Bratschitsch. Gilda, you excelled at your background. It was clear.
Yes.
It gave a good first impression. You had a genuine smile, you maintained good eye contact, and you demonstrated positive body language. Your content was very relevant and reflected today's theme, collaborative leadership. Your speech was succinct, was focused, and allowed the summary phrase to be memorable and potentially encourage members and the audience to work collaboratively. You told a story that tied in very well with the theme of today. The choice of words was excellent. It was powerful. For example, you said, the team igniting a fire. It's not about igniting a fire, it's about the spark that everybody uses to light the fire. That was very powerful. Your gestures were versatile and meaningful, and you helped illustrate the message. You may want to work on utilizing your virtual stage, to enhance your message. For example, when you are talking about lighting the fire that had not lit the first time, you could have knelt down to animate the lighting of the fire, to emphasize the point of fueling each other to lead collaboratively. In summary, your virtual stage presence was good. Your content was relevant and reflected today's theme. I liked your storytelling was very good. You are using the fire as a metaphor to enhance today's message of collaboration. You were clear and your gestures were versatile and meaningful. Back to you, Bratschitsch, our General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nelly. Thank you for the way, a proper structure of feedback and constructive feedback you have given. And I really like the way you have given the example for the good points as well as for the improvement. Thank you very much for such a constructive feedback. I hope Toastmaster Gada will certainly get feedback which will help her to grow further. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nelly. Our second evaluator for today is going to evaluate Toastmaster of the day. And this is none other than Hannah Schmidt from Namibia. And she says about our theme today that lead collaboratively means walking the path of leadership together with others rather than ahead. The focus is on we, not on me. Hannah is a member. I feel this is my personal feeling for her. She is in the Toastmaster from the time immemorials. So I request Hannah to share her feedback for the Toastmaster today. Thank you. Over to you.
Mr. General Evaluator, thank you. And thank you for our highly skilled Toastmaster of the day today, our president for the new year. I had a meeting with Holmes this week to discuss his role and identify areas of improvement based on his previous experience as a Toastmaster. And here is my takeaway from the meeting today. He followed our 2W or 2-week principle and launched the WhatsApp group 2 weeks in advance. All role players and takers speakers accepted their roles on time. And on Thursday at our training session, he coordinated the training session to ensure a smooth presentation for Saturday, for today. In your opening speech, you delivered a strong call to action. Collaboration is not optional, it is mandatory. And very importantly, especially regarding with whom you collaborate, how you collaborate, and when to collaborate. Holmes, you cared deeply about engaging our guests and visitors, inviting them to sign the guest book. And you've repeated it more than once, maybe one more time. Introducing our role players demonstrated that we are all interconnected and work together as a team. You handled that unexpected glitch with remarkable composure and professionalism, skillfully making last-minute adjustments to the agenda without disrupting the flow. Your decision to highlight the new executive by introducing them with their roles at the very first Toastmasters meeting of the year was very recommendable because, and you put them at ease with a brief question you posed before they began speaking. Definitely, I'm sure some of them were very nervous. I noticed that you were standing and have kept a vigilant eye on the procedures of the meeting. Here's one challenge, though, Holmes. I challenge you and all future Toastmasters of the day to post the meeting theme early. This will help the grammarian and the person raising the toast to prepare their roles well in advance. Holmes, your leadership will start right from the beginning, full of confidence and inspiring. A true mark of a leader who speaks with both heart and skill. A powerful beginning to what promises to be a great year. 2025, 2026 will be a great year. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Hannah. Wow, what a crisp and valuable feedback for Toastmaster Holmes. I feel this is something which is a true value of evaluation, where you are just giving him the very good feedback. And I will add on few things to this about Toastmaster Holmes for his role as a Toastmaster today. I think his presence from the day one the group started to the and even today in the meeting was immense. He was present everywhere, helping behind the scenes, which may not everyone not be knowing, but behind the scenes he was handling the things with a very composed way. That's what I feel I learned from him the same. And that is another thing was that he was connected with everyone personally, and the way he has communicated all through the group is really commendable. And this pursued me also to work more effectively and more collaboratively for the team. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Holmes and Toastmaster Hanan. So our first evaluator now, for the prepared speeches, is first leadership educational evaluator is Pulkit Gupta. He is having over 3 years experience. He is in the Toastmasters. He's from India, and he is teacher by training and quiz master and trainer by profession. And he enjoys salsa. And he said about our today's theme is quality of your life is directly proportional to your quality of collaborative prowess. Toastmaster Pulkit, please, whatever you felt good in the quiz by Terrence, please share with us. And whatever he can do better in the next quiz, please help us to understand. Thank you very much. Over to you, Toastmaster Pulkit.
Thank you, General Evaluator Paranjeet. Collaboration is leadership. It's not consensus or agreement. I couldn't agree more. What I also couldn't agree more to is that this keynote address by Terrence was indeed a brilliant one. The most important question any speaker can ask while architecting a speech is, why should the audience care? And even Terrence had this as one of his params for evaluation. And one of the ways to make the audience care is to architect your speech using the tap and transport method. Tap into your audience's world before you transport them into your world. Think of tap as a figurative shoulder tap. How did Terrence do it? He did it by using a big, bold statement at the very start. Collaboration is leadership, not consensus. It gets the audience thinking, did not think of it like that. And then he said that collaboration, if not done right, will fail. Now, what is the audience thinking? Well, I don't want to fail. Tell me how I can't fail. So he got the audience at the very start, and then he transported into his three broad structured stories. Now, there's a very popular saying in public speaking that the audience should be asking what should come next and should not be wondering, where am I at? That is, the mystery should be there, but there should be no confusion. And in a 22-minute address, there is bound to be some confusion. How did Terrence address that? By bringing a roadmap at the very start, the three broad themes that collaboration is leadership, then build deep trust and culture. And this allows the audience to follow his speech better. Now, once you have the macro structure in place, what matters next? The micro structure. And did beautifully there as well. Each fine point had its own structure. There were anecdotes, many well-researched ones. There were metaphors. It said that a picture is worth 1,000 words. A metaphor is worth 1,000 pictures. He had metaphor, the hub and spoke model, the geese, and he used it throughout, making it what we call the river that flows through it. So his anecdotes became campsites along the metaphor as he used the metaphor again and again. Brilliant structure. When it comes to a few recommendations, Terrence, here it is. It said that too much dynamism kills dynamism. Also, too much poise kills poise. You were poised throughout your speech. And what happens when you're poised throughout? It kills the impact of being poised in itself. So try to be more dynamic in your pacing, if not voice. And that could be a good starting point. The second is, Terrence, that you had a roadmap. You had the three broad points, but culture did not came very clear. And when you show the roadmap, it does not follow through it. What is the audience now thinking? Well, I'm not confused. And that's a problem. So try to make your roadmap and also follow through it. Don't always be too poised, like too much poise kills the poise, but your structure, the content, the research, and the initial tap transport method to hook your audience in makes your keynote address a brilliant one. And this, I definitely agree. Over to you, General Evaluator Paranjeet.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Pulkit. Thank you for a detailed feedback as well as using a wonderful vocabulary, metaphor, and microstructure. I really love that. And now the only thing which I want to add on to this is, as you already mentioned it, but I feel if there's a collaboration is a very big subject and very difficult to contain in 22 minutes. However, all the anecdotes and the stories what we listen from like from Google and from Amba, these there's a personal story, you can add some humor into this also. And 22 minutes speaking is not very easy to keep the audience engaged. So the best thing is to add some of your personal story where you can add humor and keep the people engaged with you. Otherwise, it becomes little boring as we go to the end of the speech. Also, time was another factor which was to be looked at. And as far as I remember, he has asked to look into more about vocal variety, vocal tonality, and connect with the audience. Of course, you talked about connect with the audience. However, I think he has to have more improvement on the tonal quality also, because that is what another thing which add and communicate with the audience and engage with the audience in a very more effective way. Overall, thank you very much for your wonderful feedback for Terrence. Our next evaluator is Ray Ravero, DTM Ray Ravero. He is from the United States of America, and he has been 13 years in the Toastmasters, double DTM, 8 paths from the pathways, served as a club officer, area division director, and his take on our theme for today is no one is an island. And leadership is not done alone. Leaders collaborate with their team to accomplish the tasks at hand and meet established goals. So over to DTM Ray Ravero. Please provide us the feedback for Toastmaster Nicole's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Ray.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator Paramji. Nicole, you asked me to check on your pacing of your speech. Not only did I feel that you accomplished that goal, that you made your pacing on your speech fine, but I thought that there were some other things of your speech that went quite well. As example, you had a good use of gestures. I noticed early in the speech, you noticed the hand to the eye to kind of get the audience attention, to get involved. And you, toward the end of the speech, you moved to invite the audience at the end of the speech with a welcoming gesture. I'd love that you put in some great quotes. The example I wrote down is procrastination is a thief of time and money. And I loved how you numbered your transitions to grab the audience attention for 1, 2, and finally. A few extra things to help you with this speech and in future speeches. I noticed that when you did some of the gestures as well as you exhibit them, sometimes you went up, but then the gestures disappeared, and it had to deal with the positioning of your camera of your screen. So if you were kind of a little bit like this, a little bit high, but then you kind of tipped a little bit of the camera and you kind of moved up, if you can kind of make sure that your waist and above is in the camera, you will be able to express more gestures. Otherwise, it's kind of like this. When you're expressing your gestures, it's not complete. And I noticed also that you were pinned in one place during your speech. Even with the limitations of the camera on Zoom, be sure to use your stage presence to move around, especially in the transitioning of the points. So there's a challenge. When it comes to pacing, if you're not sure, use the Toastmaster tool Udly, because it will record not only what you said, but the pace of how fast you project your voice during your practices of your speech. And I liked about the use of the pauses. I like to think never put pauses in your speech preparation, because that's procrastination. And finally, I would challenge you to use more descriptive language. As an example, and this was something that you mentioned, I found this stock that looked like that had a potential, and it did. It doubled in price. It tripled in price. It quadrupled in price. This was a great investment. If only I didn't procrastinate to make the purchase. Those are some ideas. I loved how you did your speech. Congratulations, and over to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, DTM Ray, for a crisp and clear, full of value in feedback. That's how we grow, by encouraging. And your points of improvement. And I love your way you have given the examples for the points which were highlighted very fine. Another one where she needs maybe able to improve upon those. And one thing which is very I think I wanted to mention, but you already mentioned, is your Zoom presence. I think that is another part which is very important for meetings online. And you have really clearly defined. The only thing was the light was also on the one side it was coming, and other side the face was not clear. So this she can accommodate the light also, so that the face is absolutely the light is absolutely. I am also trying my best to use my lighting system in my home also, in a way that it can be on my face. But I'm trying different combinations. She can do that also. So thank you very much, Toastmaster Ray. And now we go to the second evaluator, and that is Toastmaster Aries, and he's from Angola. 6 years in Toastmasters, an offshore manager with an oil and gas industry. He liked dancing, playing basketball, reading books. And he is saying about our leadership, collaborating leadership is leading collaboratively is the cornerstone for a leader's success. It cannot be underestimated. Over to you, Toastmaster Aries.
Fellow Toastmasters and the dear guests, first of all, congratulations to Gilda for a well-structured and engaging speech. One of the first things that stood out to me was your strong opening, as you asked every single one of us to unmute. This immediately grabbed my attention. I'm sure it grabbed all our attention with a relatable question, drawing me, I'm sure drawing us all in your speech. Your body language was confident. Your eye contact connect well with the audience. I could see it, making your message not only very impactful, but actually very, very personal. I particularly appreciated the use of personal stories as blended in the content. What an interdependency there. This added authenticity and helped reinforce your message. Your voice was clear. You had good vocal variety, especially as you emphasized key points like partnership is relationship. I love this one. Recommendations or opportunities to consider. To make your speech even stronger, Gilda, I would offer 2 suggestions. Pacing at the end of your speech. I did feel that you felt the pressure on time. So you were speaking a bit quickly at the end. And as you will appreciate, slowing down slightly would give us more time to absorb your message and increase even more your impact. So pacing. Next point, conclusion. So while your speech was strong overall, the conclusion could benefit from a clearer call to action or summary. But again, like I said, you felt the pressure at the end, so that was kind of missing. A summary to tie everything together and leave a lasting impression. Consider that for your future speeches. That said, you delivered your message with passion and clarity. Clearly, your energy was infectious, and you demonstrated great speaking skills as a speaker. I'm excited to see how you would build on this momentum on your next speech. Well done, Gilda. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Iris. I really love the way you structured the whole feedback and the evaluation. Very good opening, and then giving the good points, Then about what, and only 2 points you gave, not confusing with much points. And third was about the call of action. That's what really wonderful. I think you have very good listening skills, and your feedback was really kind, constructive, and focused. One thing I wanted to Toastmaster Gilda to reflect on, not reflect on, but see in the evaluation sheet. See, you are talking about the change, about what changed you, or how it's changed you, or how it helped you. Actually, this project is very much important. And if you see the total project, it's saying when there's a change and you convey it to the people, how it affects them and how you deal with it. Because every day we come across in our offices, in our daily lives, when we are changed. So the basic fundamental of this project was how the change affects others and how you work with that. So that way, it was what I felt was that it was not aligned with that particular project speech. But of course, you in the between you said that this reflected me as how it changed. So it's I would request that next time whenever there is a speech, just go through the project and see that what is the demand of a project, and that project really will really helpful you when you work on that particular project's objectives. Thank you very much still for the wonder. Otherwise, everything was very good speech. I really like the speech and the energy, the confidence you have, that you have delivered the speech. Thank you very much, sir. Our third evaluator is Toastmaster Mary Cousin, and she is from Switzerland. 9 years of Toastmaster life, medical secretary. She loved poetry, walking, speed reading, and training to discover other words. And she says about our theme of the day today that this challenges into opportunities. It transforms challenges into opportunities by fostering open communication and collective problem solving. Let us see how she dissects the speech of Irene and give us the bad points and what were the best thing in the dissection. Over to you, Toastmaster Mary.
Irene's inspirational speech, the gift that chose me, effectively transformed personal disappointment into universal wisdom about resilience and perspective. Her authentic storytelling approach created genius connection with the audience, while delivering the core message that our interpretation of events shapes our character more than the events themselves. Her speech will be analyzed through content analysis, structure evaluation, and delivery and executive presence. Content analysis, strengths. The speech masterfully employed the word interdependence through the relationship between personal setbacks and growth opportunities. Irene's narrative arc from initial disappointment about school choice to eventual acceptance and learning provided concrete evidence for her central thesis. The personal vulnerability displayed when describing her father's broken promise created emotional resonance that elevated the content beyond mere platitude. Area for enhancement. While the personal story was compelling, incorporating broader example or statistic about resilience could have strengthened the universal applicability of her message. Structure evaluation, clarity and flow. The structure demonstrated clear progression from problem to resolution to moral lesson. The chronological narrative format made the speech easy to follow, effectively guiding the audience through Irene's journey of transformation. Recommendation: consider adding transitional phrases that explicitly connect personal experience to universal principles such as this experience taught me what adversity truly means. Delivery and executive presence. Strengths. Irene exhibited strong executive presence through a willingness to be vulnerable while maintaining composure. Her strategic camera positioning, moving closer during emotional moments, demonstrated intentional communication choices that enhance intimacy with the audience. Body language excellence. The expressive facial expression, particularly when conveying disappointment, unsightness, authentically communicate the emotional weight of her experience. Her directive to lean into the discomfort was reinforced by her own demonstration of this principle. Irene successfully delivered an inspiring speech that transformed personal adversity into actionable wisdom. Her authentic delivery and clear structure effectively communicate how our interpretation of events shapes our character, leaving the audience with a powerful tool for reframing their own challenges. The gift that chose us. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Marion, for detailed feedback, which certainly will encourage as well as have a good points for improvement. And I really appreciate Toastmaster Irene for her very wonderful tonal quality as well as the gesture. Wonderful speech. And Toastmaster Mary, for your if you can add whenever you are evaluating and you are giving points which are really you like them, just give some examples as well as for the points for improvement. You can show that how it can be done. That will add more easy. It's most easy to understand for the speaker, that he can understand and do what is you're expecting her to improve upon. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mary. Our fourth evaluator is Angela Brown. She is from Canada, 4 years into Toastmasters, entrepreneur, author, like to read and solving puzzles. And her take on for theme is the theme lead collaboratively is important to me because true leadership means empowering others, valuing diverse voices, and building success as a team, not alone. Let us see how we will solve the puzzle of Mrinal's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Angela.
Thank you, Mrinal, for your inspiring level 5 speech. I love the title, A Spark from a Visionary. It's a strong personal reflection on your visual communication journey. You opened with a thought-provoking question that immediately pulled us in and set the stage for what was to come. It was clear that the project Connect with Storytelling was your favorite, and you used it beautifully as a lens to reflect on your growth. Your speech was well organized and easy to follow and packed with strong content. I loved how you tied everything back to the quote, "Don't give up on things that light you up." That quote stayed with me, especially when you told us that Toastmasters lights you up. That passion was evident in your voice from the beginning to the end. You gave us real, meaningful examples of how the path helped you. Speaking more confidently with your daughter, closing a $10 million deal, and simply becoming a better communicator. All of that showed how much visionary communication has impacted your life professionally and personally. Your eye contact was strong and your voice carried emotion and conviction, which helped the audience connect with your message. For future speeches, I encourage you to take it up a level by using more gestures. I saw the gesture where you're climbing the ladder, but then your hands that was moving like this a lot, but no meaningful gestures. I would suggest to stand up when possible. It would allow us the energy would allow the energy and the message to reach us and fully through body language. Overall, this was a very powerful and passionate speech, a fitting reflection to the completion of your path. Congratulations for reaching level 5 and for finishing the path, for showing us what it means to speak with heart, purpose, and vision. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Angela. As usual, very clear, very crisp, and food for point for improvement. I love the way you have structured the whole evaluation. There's nothing I would like to add on. You clarify every point. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Angela. Our fifth evaluator is Toastmaster Nzinga Jasse. She's from Angola. She's an internal audit advisor. Love to reading, traveling, spend time with friends and family. And she said that collaborative leaders encourage participation, foster inclusion and empowerment, strengthening a sense of collective responsibility. Over to you, Toastmaster Nzinga.
Tony, why should we listen to you? Because you turned the icebreaker into a masterclass. You excel at your main objective, to give us a takeaway. I was convinced, and I'm pretty sure everybody here is convinced, that it is important to grab the audience attention. What's the point of trying to be persuasive or anything else if you don't have the audience's attention? You also weaved your personal story into one of the other objectives you had, and I didn't mention earlier, which was to demonstrate your journey in developing hooks as an attention grabber and a compelling factor. You taught us what a hook was, the attention grabber, why it was important, because if nobody's listening, it doesn't matter, and how you did it. How you did it in that court law, I'll tell you a story, and how the book Laws of Human Nature helped you understand and use in some situations, turn skepticism into curiosity and turn that into your advantage. I was hooked listening to it and taking notes to use for myself. It's useful not just for Toastmaster speeches, but in day-to-day situations. We need to read our audience. We need to pay attention and understand when the opportunity hits. This is what you did so well, Tony. I humbly challenge you to create an immersive experience, because while you delivered this very well-structured speech, you tell us about yourself and experience in court, you could have included some visuals, or even the outfit of law courts. And then it would become not just a speech, but an immersive experience. Otherwise, well done, Tony. Thank you for bringing us the basics, capture the audience attention. Thank you for the lovely takeaway. And I challenge you to introduce some visual aids and give us an immersive experience. Looking forward to the next speech. Back to you, Paramjit.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nzinga. Thank you for showing us how to deliver an evaluation with empathy and insight. A skill that is really valuable inside and outside Toastmasters. So this ends with this evaluation with the speaker. So I'll request timer to post the time in the chat and Zoom Master to launch the poll for the best for the evaluator. As the polls are through for you, you can vote. In the meantime, I will request Toastmaster Alfin to present his grammarian report. Over to you, Toastmaster Alfin.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Paramjit. Let me present the grammar report for tonight's meeting. So here are my corrections or my observation. I hear someone said what he is said. I think it should be what he said. Yeah, because it feels just the is not necessary there. Next one, I heard someone said who give us. It should be who gives us. And also the other continue moving forward. It should be the other continues moving forward because after the subject outside of I, you, we, and they, it should be adding s after the verb. I heard also, this is also happened multiple times. Like when we use plural, some people don't use the s after it. For example, handle multiple project, when it should be handle multiple projects. Don't forget the s, the little s in the end. It will be distinguish you from singular. And I heard someone said to achieve even more. Nothing wrong actually with this statement, but it feels too general. So I suggest you can use to achieve greater success. It sounds more intentional. And I heard someone say, when talk about, what is missing is the subject. You can use when we talk about, or when they talk about, or use a gerund. So we use when talking about. The talking becomes the subject. I heard someone say back to present day. It feels not complete. So be back to the present day because practical time, we need to add the. And also heard many times the speakers, some of the speakers using present tense when describing something in the past. I hope the speakers can increase the awareness. Also for me to use past tense to describe something in the past, like using the second type of the verb. And for outstanding quotes of the day, 1 + 1 = 1, really related to our theme. Not only 1 + 1 can be 1 plus many, still equals 1 because we are one. From Terrence, the magic happened when people feel safe to contribute. From Nicole, don't put off until tomorrow of what you can do today. From Irene, I didn't choose the gift chose me. Finally, from Mrinal, leadership starts with listening to others and yourself. Thank you so much for such inspiring speech today. Back to GE Toastmaster Paramjit.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Alfin, for a detailed report and a really impressive report. And really appreciate your listening skills and presentation skills. Thank you very much for your skill. Now, for my general report, it's already very late, so I will just say one thing, that collaboration is the only thing which leadership works on. And the leadership speaks today's meeting was full of collaboration, where everybody jumped in, all the role players, they did their best. They came, some of them, they put on another slot. They came in the slot which was empty at the last moment. Thank you for all of them. And we had a wonderful meeting and wonderful speeches. And evaluators have really given us their best feedbacks for everyone. So this was a meeting, first meeting of the new year. And I appreciate everyone's efforts to make this meeting a successful meeting. So now I'd like to hand over to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Holmes. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Paramjit, our general evaluator, as well as the evaluation team. Members and guests, I hope you have gained insightful comments and areas where by observing others, you could also find your own areas of improvements. Next, I'd like to invite the thought of the day, Arona So, to share with us. After listening to this wonderful meeting, what does he feel? But before that, Arona, let us know one thing you love about Leadership Speak.
Collaboration. Definitely.
Over to you.
Thank you, Holmes. Leads collaboratively. Alone, we can go fast. Together, we can go further. But being together, being a team, doesn't guarantee success. Success doesn't come overnight. Team success is built on collaboration, built on deep trust that strengthens the collaboration among members. Knowing they are sharing the same goals. In a successful team, competition doesn't exist because members know every member win is a team win, and every team win is an individual win. 1 + 1 = 1. What drives Leadership Speak success? Our meetings are prepared 2 weeks in advance. We have extraordinary groups where members can practice and receive feedback. We have also practice section before the meeting where role takers can receive feedbacks on their role and speech delivering. And speakers know they succeed as better speakers. The evaluator succeeds as good evaluator. That leads to collaboration. And collaboration goes beyond the meeting when speakers continue to receive feedback from the evaluators. Collaboration is the cornerstone of success, of leadership success, and it multiplies leaders' impact. Fellow Toastmaster, to be an effective communicator, to be an effective leaders, let's lead with collaboration. Back to you, dear Toastmaster Vedea.
Thank you so much, Arona. Thank you so much, Arona. Next, we have the awards section. I'd like to check with our PR master for today. Is your short video ready, or do you need a little bit more time, Terrence?
Hello, Toastmaster of the day. Can you hear me?
Yes, Terrence, go ahead. Thank you, Terrence. Congratulations to Nzinga, Tony, and Irene. You done us proud. Let us move on to the guest interaction section. Before that, I'd like to invite our immediate past president as well as vice president of membership, Bram Manon, to share a few words. Bram?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Awesome.
That's just great, Holmes. You're doing great over here as a president of the club. Wonderful meeting. We have quite a number of guests here, Holmes. Are you going to be speaking to any of them, or you need me to speak to a few that I may know? Oh, by the way, you know, Holmes, we have Amina Kita here, who has just joined the club, and she's here amongst us from Nigeria. So let's just say hello to Amina. Hi, Amina. Aminata, sorry.
Hi, Bram. You want to make me a Nigerian? I'm from Guinea, Conakry. Proudly French.
All right. Guinea Conakry.
Yes. Yes.
We've just added another flag to our
Exactly. I was
flag.
going to write you about it.
Why did I assume you're from Nigeria? I don't know, but hey, ladies and gentlemen, from 29 flags to 30 flags from October, from this month. Amazing. Thank you. Wow.
Yes.
Well,
And I'm very
welcome.
happy to be here, actually. I have learned so much only today from the evaluators, from the role presenters. It was just amazing. And from speeches, it was really great. Thank you. I'm happy. I've been waiting for 2 years before I get a member.
3 years,
right?
actually.
You can tell them the story.
3 years, actually. Absolutely. And we have, of course, some other new members here, Wahiga Gichinga and Nelly Jan. So we have now 2 Nellies, right? One is Nelly Ayodo, one is Nelly Jan Galido from Philippines. Awesome. Anyways, we have a few members here. So, Holmes, do you want to speak to any of them, or?
Let's have a brief chat with the other 2 new members also, then we move on to the guests who are around. Thanks, Aminata. Nelly, are you there? Let me have you spotlighted. Hello, hello.
Hi.
How are you feeling throughout the meeting? This is your first meeting as a member, am I right?
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Well, I must say I'm impressed.
Thank you.
I think Holmes, she might be the youngest member currently in our club. I'm assuming, of course, I mean, looks could be deceiving. I could be the youngest. I don't know. I'm just looking a bit not as young. or Tony. Tony could be the youngest. I don't know. Hey, Tony, class of 54.
Yeah. About a century ago, isn't it? Right?
Hey, shh, Tony, come on. I'll buy you a drink this Sunday. Anyways, thank you, Nelly, and over to you, Holmes. And good to have you, Nelly. Absolutely, such a pleasure to have such a young person in our club. Welcome.
Yeah, fully agree with Bram, and I look forward to working with you in the meetings ahead. Thank you so much, Nelly. Let me also welcome Wahinga. Hello, Wahinga. How's it going there?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. What about you?
I'm doing well. I've enjoyed the meeting today.
Awesome. What's one highlight for you?
You know what,
for me,
Holmes? I would like to say this to Wahinga. Habari yako, karibu kwa Leadership Speak. Unakaa wapi?
Asante.
Nairobi wewe?
Asante sana, Bram.
Karibu.
Yes, a lot went going, like from the speeches, from all the speeches given, and I also love the evaluations, great evaluations there to improve on the speaking for each of the people who spoke today. So I really enjoyed myself.
Awesome.
Amazing. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Wahinga. We'll connect further.
All right.
Okay, Let me go to the guest. Let me see who is around. Nomfudo, are you still around?
I am around. I enjoyed the session. It was great.
Awesome. And you said that you are currently a member in Gemstones. All right.
Rosebank Toastmasters in
Oh my God.
Johannesburg. In Johannesburg.
Yes, I see that. I see that.
Yes.
I hope you're welcome. You're welcome to visit us again as many times as you would like. We always welcome guests with us. And do share your joy of the meeting with your friends and fellow Toastmasters.
I would do.
Thank you so much, Nafundo.
Thanks.
Let me see who are the other guests that are still around. Give me a moment.
You know, while you'll be looking for the guests on the screen here, a couple of them have, a few of them actually have signed the guest book, and Tariq isn't here, but he's expressed an interest in joining Leadership Speak as well. So that's great going already. Brand new year. So awesome.
Yeah.
We keep growing. We keep growing. All right. Well, over to you, Holmes. You take over. I'm done. I just wanted to come and say just hello, and I'll remove my spotlight. All yours.
Sure. Okay, I'll call a few guests. If you're around and convenient to turn on your microphone and your video, just shout out. We have Samruti, Smruti. Samruti, are you around? Shashini Stone, are you around?
Hello. Yes, I'm here.
Hello, let me spotlight you. How do you find the whole meeting?
As usual, quite very well organized, quite impressive, and I don't know, but I really do take a lot of what you guys do in your meetings and try to implement it in my club. So you're a motivation to me.
That's great to hear. You know, you want to consider joining us because there is a lot of preparation work. I'm speaking from my experience. The preparation work comes with systems and comes with guidance. Experiencing it makes a whole different story from just watching it. A suggestion for you to consider.
Absolutely. I take your suggestion.
Thank you so much. And you're always welcome to be with us, and do invite your friends and fellow Toastmasters over to our meetings also. Thank you so much. Looking
Thank you,
forward to
Toastmaster
seeing you
Holmes.
all. Let me just have another look. Okay, I think that is all the guests who are today. We also have the brief chat with the new members and guests. Very thankful for all the speakers, evaluators, and role players for your contribution and your service today. There were a number of things we have to adjust last minute, but I felt that everybody did well, and I'm looking forward to working with each and every one of you for the future meetings ahead. Of course, doing better. Okay. We have someone who is joining, and I believe he or she is a guest. Give me one moment to see whether this person might be able to speak. Hello, Wasni. Are you available to speak? We are now having a guest interaction section. Okay, maybe not. No worries. With that, I'd like to declare that the meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone. Zoom Master, please help to stop the recording as well as the YouTube hosting.